The muddy river roared with brutal force, pounding against the Ranger Euro's chest. His boots sank into the muck, and each step felt like a battle already lost. In his arms, a small gorilla clung with nails and teeth to his soaked shirt, shrieking with terror that pierced the jungle, while the current covered them again and again. Every step was a miracle sustained by sheer will. No one understood how the baby had ended up trapped in the raging river. The whirlpool had dragged him toward the center, condemning him to vanish in seconds. The ranger, without hesitation, had left the safety of the bank and leapt into the water as if defending his own child. The swollen current, fattened by the Euro's rain, had claimed countless lives, but statistics had no place in the heart of a man who knew every heartbeat matters on its own. The blow of the current was brutal. The freezing water lashed at him with violence, shoving him toward the depths as if to rip out his soul. He swam against it, swallowing water, feeling that each stroke might be his last. A log struck his side, blurring his vision with pain. Still, he pressed the little one tighter to his chest. The gorilla Euro's desperate cries became a beacon. As long as there was sound, there was life. As long as there was life, there was direction. With superhuman effort, he reached shallower ground. Water rose to his chest, and the mud clung to his boots, dragging him down. Each step was agony. The shore was near but seemed to recede with every attempt. Finally, with one last push, he collapsed to his knees on wet sand. Gasping, trembling, he had made it. The baby gorilla, drenched, was alive. The man embraced him fiercely, tears mixing with the river on his face. Then he lifted his gaze, and his lungs froze. In front of him, motionless and utterly silent, a troop of gorillas watched. The silverback stood at the front, immense, eyes locked on the human. Beside him, an adult female, behind, two juveniles peered with curiosity. The jungly Euro's silence was so heavy he could hear the drip of river water falling from his clothes. The ranger did not move. He held the little one close, his head bowed to avoid direct eye contact. He knew a false gesture could become an irreparable mistake. The silverback remained still, a statue of muscle and power. The female took a small step, and the man noticed her breathing, fast, too fast for calm. Not anger. Tension Euro, and beneath the tension, care. Perhaps even fear. That recognition cracked open a narrow window of hope. Slowly, he shifted the baby to one arm and showed his empty hands. No threat, only the inevitable trembling of one who had just fought a river. The female uttered a low sound, like an audible sigh. The juveniles edged forward a step, obeying an invisible boundary. The jungle, suspended until then, began to breathe again, a bird dared to sing, an insect buzzed uninvited. Life flowed once more, though the Euro's fate still hung by a thread. The ranger knew he had to go further. He dropped to one knee to reduce his height and carefully inched the baby toward the female. The little one whimpered, and she answered with a deep vibration that was not a word, but a promise. Then came the exchange. The man slid the gorilla forward. The female received him with one arm, pulling him to her chest. The child calmed instantly, burying his head in her warm fur, as if the world finally had a gentle outline again. The silverback advanced 3 exact steps and pounded the ground with his knuckles. Not a threat, but permission. The air between man and gorilla filled with silent respect. The ranger retreated carefully, step by step, without looking directly. From a safe distance, he watched the female cradle the baby while the juveniles played in relief. The silverback stayed vigilant until the human vanished among the trees. He walked back slowly, as if each step could erase what had happened. At the station, he did not tell all. He did not mention the familiar Euro's sigh or the silverback Euro's measured blow. Those things do not fit into a story without turning into caricature. He only said, "A Euroeth river tested me." A Euro that night he did not sleep. He closed his eyes and saw again the silverback Euro's gaze, immense and serene, choosing not to destroy him. The line between life and death had thinned into a fine rope they both had decided to balance upon. At dawn, a need drew him back to the site. The river still raged, though lower. From the brush, the silverback Euro's silhouette appeared. No roar, no charge. Just a look, as if confirming the pact remained. Behind him, the female with the little one, dry now, eyes alive. The Ranger Euro's throat tightened. He clenched his teeth to keep from breaking the spell with a sob. The troop melted back into the forest without haste, as though the day had begun in ordinary peace. In the days after, the man returned to routine, patrols, dismantling snares, reports. Yet inside, nothing was the same. Riding a Euro or river Euro no longer meant geography, but a moral boundary. The image of the small body pressed to his chest, and the troop watching in silence, followed him like a luminous shadow. Sometimes he opened his damp notebook and scribbled fragments, a Euro I don't a Euro T let go. A Euro O breathe as pact. A Euro I a gaze that contains the strike. A Euro he feared memory might betray him, softening edges over time, so he pinned words where he could. One afternoon on a distant patrol, he heard branches snap. On a rock, bathed in golden light, stood the silverback again, alone. No threat. Just presence. The ranger dipped his head in respect. When he raised it, the gorilla was gone. He needed no more. It was a signature revalidated on an invisible document. Weeks passed. The river receded. The jungle reclaimed paths, though scars remained, fallen trees, raw clearings, muddy stripes across banks. The ranger saw these with new eyes. Each log carried by the flood could be bridge or snare. Each curve of the current could be refuge or trap. And he understood he had not only saved the baby, he had learned another way of inhabiting the land. Villagers, stirred by distorted rumors, sought him for the story. Some wanted a hero, others a monster. He gave neither. He spoke of water, of rain, of mud, of the weight of a body that trusts. He withheld the unutterable, the silverback Euro's breath in the air between them, the familiar Euro's deep sound promising with her chest, the precision with which the juveniles formed a semicircle to guard the exchange. Not out of secrecy, but because words would only break it. At dawn in thick mist, he heard a familiar cry, high-pitched, not alarm, but play. He pushed through branches and saw him, the same gorilla, now stronger, chasing siblings among roots. Seeing him, the youngster paused, tilted his head, as if memory slotted into place, then resumed play. The ranger smiled in silence. He needed no public confirmation. The forest had returned his greeting. A year after the river, the ranger felt older. Not from fatigue, but from knowing the weight of a life placed in your arms. In the shade of a great tree, he reviewed his life. Not patrols, not reports. A current that does not forgive. A body that trusted blindly. A gaze that chose not to destroy. He understood his work was not only about stopping poachers or guarding paths. It was about being there when something seemed to break, and holding with your hands what still breathed. One bright morning, with the river calm, he returned to the same bank. The water reflected pieces of sky, and the jungle smelled of fresh leaves. He closed his eyes and felt again the gorilla Euro's weight on his chest, the coarse fur on his cheek, the loga Euro's blow to his side, the cold sand beneath his knees. He opened them and, for the first time, understood his own moral. True pacts are not signed with words or witnesses. They are sealed when you choose to lose so another may win, when you offer your body so another heartbeat continues. That afternoon, before leaving the shore, he saw a shadow above. The silverback stood there, half hidden in leaves, a mountain breathing. He did not descend. He didn't need to. The ranger bowed his head and left in silence. He knew the story needed no more scenes. The river had already said what had to be said. Moral, real pacts need no words. They are born when you decide to protect a life not your own and discover that, in doing so, you save your own as well. Strength opens the way, calm preserves what you save.